shades, letting her go, letting her rip.
Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are here today. Oh my. Like the title says, the whys matter. Facts, look, facts are great. I don't discredit facts. I'm not afraid of facts. I like facts. I like them. But who cares? Facts are, Chris Godwin last night in the football game suffered an injury. But the whys, why was he playing in a meaningless situation to allow that fact to happen? Why? The whys? It's the question mark. It's the wonder. It's the thinking to the why part. That's why I don't like facts. I want to know why. You guys can enjoy your facts, and it's fine to have them, but fact of the matter is, the why is the inhibitor to all of your facts. And that's why I like to think about it more than the facts. And in this racing sport that is so egotistical, there are many reasons to fabricate, lie, and manipulate, which is why cheating in itself is a thing, right? Cheating is a result of a why. Why? Oh, the ego, the desire to win, all these things. Does cheating come with facts? It's a question mark. Can it get caught? Is it very important to get caught? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. We have this situation here, ladies and gentlemen. We have this situation. But the whys matter more. We're going to talk about it. Hey guys, so the Chaz is particularly brought to you by Prime. No, not the drink that Kyle all of a sudden loves, but Prime Composite Innovations. So, what does Prime do? Well, they make carbon fiber sprint car bodies, but I know you got to say right now that those cost so much, Chaz. Well, they really don't anymore. Thanks to owner-operator Clyde Knipp, former Jason Johnson Racing car chief. Over at Prime, they can offer a full sprint car combination for around the $2,500 mark, which is significantly less than the major brands you hear about. In addition, these parts are uniquely made for performance and even integrate Kevlar. Yes, Kevlar, that thing that can protect you from the wildest of P. Diddy parties. At this price point, the availability to have quality carbon in your stable is here. Race saver guys, non-wing guys, 360s, heck, even the 358 guys that cry on Facebook that no one cares about UMPA. This is where you can get that all racers matter type of treatment and upgrade today. Prime bodies have been utilized by marquee drivers such as Anthony Macri, Bill Baylog, Carson Macedo, and more, and they look to expand into your shop in the future. So visit prime-composites.com to see what they have for you, and feel free to reach directly out to Clyde about getting bodies on your ride today. Once again, prime-composites.com, and hey, tell them the Chaz sent you. Look, another must-have product for some of you out there, and I have hands-on experience in this now, is the optics from Deatherage Certified Opticians. With drivers like Jonathan Davenport in the late model world and Donnie Schatz in the sprint car world utilizing these HD fog and glare resistant lenses, they have racked up millions of dollars, yes, millions of dollars on the racetrack, especially JD. But for the common fan, media member, or even people in everyday life, or the critical thinkers such as myself, this same technology can be utilized in the world outside of racing. For instance, when I got my pair that I nicknamed the Chaz Especial because I still have sex appeal, my biggest notice in using them is driving. At night, it used to be horrible in trying to either drive in the rain or dodging white-tailed deer in the middle of the night, leaving these tracks that are located in BFE. But with these optics from Deatherage, the anti-glare technology meant for the racetrack transfers into defeating those horrific LED lights on the egotistical maniacs out there in their 2004 souped-up pickup trucks on 35s. Also remember vividly wearing them during the day. Previously a nice scene of mountains or just some country prairies or trees or lakes or something as you're driving down the highway would be somewhat of a blur at extreme distances. But when I put this pair on, I feel like I could see the leaves on a damn branch from a half mile away. The scenes and views are just literally enhanced. I think this is where that HD technology comes into play as well. Whether you already have glasses or think you may need some, this is the way to go. And he supports motorsports. I mean, this is a full around 100%, good for you, good for him, good for everybody in the motorsports world. And with the wide range of styles I saw within his shop, it opens the possibilities to all walks of life inside and outside of racing. Call Greg today at 940-733-2843 or visit deatherageopticians.com. DeaTherage opticians.com. And hey, let them know that you heard about them on the show. So the whys, what are we talking about? Obviously, the biggest thing that's happened here in the last couple of days when it comes to whys and facts and matters and all these craps and left, rights, and centers is this situation right here. Although this is a post from Sprint Car Hub, one of the, in my opinion, one of the best coveragers of sprint car racing. I think he does a real good job of sitting right there in the truth, fact, opinion, why, back to the why. He sprinkles in a lot of whys and things like that. I think he does a really good job. 4 cars are randomly selected by the SCCA to run a new traction control detection device. Callum Williamson, Michael Keane, Chris Coyle, and James Inglis. And from what I'm told so far, this is a day ago, all 4 cars experienced similar issues. There were issues with the cars, and the SCCA has obviously been working on a device to detect traction control, which I think is great. Clearly, there was a problem over the weekend, though. How does the device work? Where did it go? What engine damage did the device cause? What is the future of the device? He said he was speaking with SCCA and other people. Of course, Callum Williamson, Keen Racing team made posts. The English team made posts. And there's been some developments since then, where Callum Williamson and other drivers have went on to the Sprint Car Hub show. There was a big, giant YouTube video covering this situation. They're talking about it. Inglis is talking about it. Callum Williamson's on there talking about it. Brody Moeller is over there talking about it. And there's a lot of people talking about this situation. Go over there to Sprint Car Hub to get some of the facts. Me personally, I'm not looking at the facts of this scenario. I'm looking at the whys. Now, the why is the bigger point here, and this is where I'm going to offend some people, apparently. I'm going to offend some people because I like to come on here and talk about what I think and what I think is based in the why, because once again, the why is the inhibitor of the facts. There's a reason. There's a cause and an effect. Because of something, the effect is this traction control device. The effect is this device on these cars. The effect is this device on these randomly selected drivers. Apparently, all 4 were randomly selected. But this is where it comes to why, in my opinion. Now, Callum Williamson, who you see on your screen, obviously, we have a history with Callum here and helping or being an assistance in getting him his USA ride. And we went over to the Australian side of the world and interacted with the Australian side of the world, the Perth side, the central side, the eastern side. Now, while I was over there, y'all may be thinking, wow, Australia's all of a sudden first one up to try to attack this traction control device situation. While I was in Perth, and obviously Callum Williamson has had an immense amount of success in Perth. But while I was there was some rumblings that Callum is not as good as he is, and that the potentiality that something along the lines of traction control is why he is doing as good as he does. And previous to this USA ride, I did hear the statement told to my face that we're going to find out if it is or isn't when he goes to the USA, and we'll see how he does. Now, obviously, Callum Williamson did not do very well in his USA venture, which added to the flames of that claim. This is just what it is. Here's some whys for you. I'm not sitting here blowing smoke. This is some real whys. Now, some of this stuff needs to be put out. That way there ain't no wondering or worries and all this stuff. And there's clicks over there, too. Just like there's clicks over here in the American racing world, there's clicks over there, too. And there's buddy systems and all this crap that me and pretty much everyone who is up in the upper echelon of motorsports and talks about it understands that the buddy system and the clicks run more than pretty much anything you can think of. And these buddy systems and clicks tentacle throughout the entire racing world, even in the political domains, the real world. The whole entire world is run on buddy systems and clicks. Now, obviously, the 4 drivers selected there are some interesting tentacles. Now, I don't know all of them in and out, but it was very interesting to know that this traction control device randomly was selected to Callum and Inglis, and even in the same statement, Coyle and King. A little bit of fairness, I guess you could say, in the selectiveness of those people. There's a public persona and a private persona, and everybody's hiding it here. Whereas if we can get that private persona and kind of put it out there to the public a little bit more on how you feel about certain drivers and what you think, then you won't have to worry about why. But once again, facts and all this ego, other drivers, other teams spending money and thinking they should win and whatever. Callum can't be that good. This is how you get these facts. And then who knows? Is Callum cheating? Is he? Which in the essence of the entire conversation, this is good. This traction control device, all the things that is trying to happen, even putting it on Callum's car to begin with, or anybody who you may have a question for, is good. The situations, the instances, the whys as to why it didn't work out, and obviously people experienced issues one way or another, not in testing, but on race night. That sucks. Because obviously, this type of technology is not just going to be for Australia. And obviously, this technology probably does, the actual cheating traction control technology actually does probably start or originate in America. You know, we always see the jokes of Davis Technologies. It's not an Australian company. This is a American company. Traction control over here is a thing. You heard Dirt Tracker say he's even had conversations with the high limit and outlaw people trying to find something or this, that, and the other. And Australia, I do think, is a really good head leader on maybe some examples of what American racing can learn from. We're going to talk about that here in just a minute with Riverside. You know, so this is a scenario. This is a real scenario where what they're trying to do over there in Perth is great. No matter the whys. No matter the whys. The facts are this is a good thing. Now they obviously need to do some trial runs and figure out what they got going over there. But once they figure it out, it needs to spread. Ultimately this is a positive thing. The why on why people used and why this is that and the others and all these things, that doesn't matter. The fact is this is good. And it needs to grow and become better. Now, there's a lot of whys that are answered, or a lot of facts that are answered on this show with Sprint Car Hub, and there's still more to come. There's people wanting to get on the show here and talk about it too. But I'm going to produce my whys that I heard, that I know, the truth, the talks, the private conversations I'm not putting names on them, but this is the private style of notion that I feel has led to this scenario. But once again, even though if that's the why and this is the reason and the ego and all that, maybe it's producing a good thing. Maybe it's going to produce something that is great. A way to actually have a system on these race cars in Australia and America that is going to mandate fairness. Mandate fairness. Mandate a standard, especially with the money that we're starting to race for, and probably money that's going to get bigger and grow and become even more alluring to potentially cheat for. Speaking of mandates, I have been hearing chirps and chirps and chirps. Hold on, let me give a little bit of a plug to Perth here. They are going to be having their next race. It's going to be a developing situation. I'm assuming that there's more units coming in. Apparently, this traction control detection device system is not going away. But they are going to be racing this Saturday, October 26th in Australia. Westernapolis, Sprint Car Westernapolis. Sprint cars, late models, midgets, speed cars, and wingless sprint cars. That's going to be over there as Perth is celebrating 25 years. Of course, High Limit going to be coming up later in the year. But back to Australia and mandates. You know, this is a situation that's happening this weekend, and I've heard a lot of chirpings about it. You know, Riverside International Speedway going to be racing this Friday and Saturday night. I think it's going to be one of the most exciting sprint car races of the year. And I've already heard that there is somewhat of a private discussion to where this race could be canceled. I don't know how much validity is in that, but it's based on the fencing falling apart from the high limit race earlier this year. And the fencing not being too safe at Riverside and all these things, and there's an issue with that, and I hear it chirping in the fan section as well. Oh my God, they're going to Riverside where cars go out of the park and the fence doesn't stay up. The problem with this situation is when is this going to be fair? And back to Australia with their mandates and standards of a situation, when is that going to be the case in America? If you are going to put a standard, and once again, these are just rumors, hot rumors about this Riverside race being at jeopardy. But why? If you're going to have these set of standards in the sprint car world or in dirt racing or sprint cars especially, because that seems to be where the extremism is at, then you have to set the standard across the board. Riverside having a fence that falls apart or not, how does that compare to Williams Grove? We just saw two cars go out of the park. One car went out twice. One car went out twice in the same spot where the car owner's in a wheelchair now. Well, almost the same spot. But at Williams Grove, Port Royal in 3 and 4 doesn't have a fence. And you're entering the corner at 120, 130, maybe some people think 40, 50 miles per hour at Port Royal. Williams Grove, how fast you enter in turn 1? You don't have a fence. So Riverside's little quarter mile down there, potentially racing like it doesn't have a fence because the fence doesn't stay up. It's chicken wire or whatever the people are calling it. Why does that matter if the fence falls down? So you're concerned about cars leaving the park at 65 miles per hour or 70? But you're not at 130 or 140. So this is where the standard has to be set. And this probably goes back to the situation, the buddy system, the clicks. You know, there's these loyalties and been around and all this stuff. That's okay. This is not. This is a question mark. So I don't want to, and I feel like this could come up this week because somebody could go through these fences. The fence at Riverside is almost like it's not even there. It's basically like Texarkana 67 currently. I don't know if they put a fence up, but they did put a wall up around the track to build a cushion and have a contained racing area, but there's no fence around it, okay? At least they're going 65. At least they're going 70. I mean, does Cedar Lake in 1 and 2 have a fence? I'm just saying. So once again, I've heard rumblings that this is a jeopardized event right now because of the situation around this fence around Riverside on the outside. Obviously, the fan grandstand side needs to have a very well-structured fence, but as far as 1 and 2, where the racing is happening, where non-patrons are supposed to be located, treat Riverside like it doesn't have a fence in the corners. And if Riverside only having a wall and not having a fence is going to be a reasoning for canceling the event, then okay, we got to get rid of Williams Grove now. We got to get rid of Cedar Lake. And I'm just saying, or I don't know, Cedar Lake, I'm trying to remember off the top of my head, but I'm just saying, we got some pretty good examples where some tracks don't have a fence, but they got a wall on the outside, and they're going a lot faster than they are at this little bitty quarter-mile track that's maybe the size of the dome. So, back to regulation standards. I agree that we should have standards for our tracks, but there has to be equality. There has to be fairness. You have to treat them all the same. Treat them all the same, guys. That's all I got to say. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that's what I think. I think the whys matter. I think what's happening in Australia has a lot of whys. I think it has a lot of facts as well. I think the fact out of this is what they're doing is good. What they're doing needs to develop. What they're doing over there, no matter what the whys are, cannot be snubbed. They cannot be restricted. What's happening over there with that traction control system needs to grow, needs to develop. All the kinks need to be figured out. If Perth Motorplex is going to be the testing grounds, then that's up to that organization to determine that. But what they are doing is for the betterment of the entire world of sprint car racing. That's the only fact to me out of all the whys that matter. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, like the video, comment below, go over to Sprint Car Hub to watch that interview with all the drivers and the coverage that he has, opinions, really good stuff. As always, be sure to subscribe, and we will catch you next time.
Ready to rip, ready to reach. Place my bets, hey, you never know when playing on hopes what you could achieve. Making the goal, peace with the soul, don't matter the bottom with what you believe. Cause if I'm taking it all in the calling, it's harder with nothing that's harder than free. Not giving up, no.